Alright, the Bucks. It is Talking Buccaneers with me, Fumane before Swallows FC versus Orlando Pirates, Friday Night Football. Before I get into the show, if you are listening on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts, you will not notice what I'm about to talk about. But if you're watching on YouTube or anywhere else that you might watch, maybe on Instagram, TikTok, you will notice that the lighting situation is not the same today. We've had to improvise because of ESCOM. We all know that we've got a huge crisis of electricity in our country, but the show must go on. Football continues, so the show must go on. We have to be here to talk about these mighty Bucks, ESCOM or no ESCOM. Yeah, talking about the game now, I think I'm not. This game has been hyped a lot to be the original Soweto Derby. I think it's just the narrative. I think it's just it's good. It's got heritage. It's got a history. I'm not undermining the history of this match, and just where these two clubs come from. So many years in professional football, or at least lately it's become professional. But yeah, so many years playing Orlando Pirates, existing as a club. So many years Swallows FC, formerly known as Morocco Swallows, from I think 1947, if I'm not mistaken, 10 years after Orlando Pirates was formed. Yeah, so obviously there's a history and a respect that we ought to show as we come in 2023 talking about these clubs. That there's a history, there's where they come from, there's a rivalry that we will not maybe feel or respect because of where these clubs have been in our time, right? And that's important because in our time, these two clubs have not performed at a level where this game would deserve to be hyped up so much. So yeah, for me. But what I like to hop on this narrative for this whole this is the original Soweto Derby thing is because it just puts Chiefs at their place. So I always love it when Chiefs is put at their place. I always love it when Chiefs feels insignificant. I'd love it more if we could make them feel insignificant in the pitch. So last week it would have been nice if we would have made them feel like where they should be by results, right? But anything I'll take if it means we must hype up this game. Which, let's be fair, it's not going to be so exciting. It doesn't promise to be. All signs don't look like this game is going to be a big game. It should be a run of the mill victory for Pirates. It should be one of those games that, looking at where Swallows is on the log 14th, and you don't be 14th, so you're not 14th on the log by accident after almost 20 games. It's a story. It says something. It says that your club is struggling. It says that your team is not playing well. For whatever reason, it may be that maybe you are playing entertaining football, but you're just not getting the results. But this is a results business. So as much as we all want to watch football that makes us feel good and tickles us, right? But at the end of the day, this is a results business. If you don't produce the results, then you shouldn't play in this division. You will play in lower divisions where maybe you can get results. So yeah, I mean Swallows is 14th. I don't want to pretend that this is going to be a hard game or whatever, but Pirates tend to do that to themselves. We tend to make hard fixtures. Sorry, relatively easy fixtures, relatively compared to the top of so the clashes that you would play at the top of the league, maybe against your Sundowns. Um, yeah, those fixtures. In relative to those fixtures, I mean, a game against Swallows should be more run of the mill. If you look at quality, the kind of players that are there, where they are on the log, I've already spoken about that. Pirates should get an easy 3 points. But I mean, it hinges on the coach is going to be back. How is he going to play? Um, I think I thought I'd give myself the Chiefs game to make up my mind about this coach. I mean, I've already seen his identity, um, just how he wants to play. He caught me by surprise in some of the games, recent games, in the way that he lined up because I thought he's someone who really believes in the three at the back, four in midfield, sometimes five when you're defending at the back, with two in midfield and three up front, or two up front, three in midfield, five at the back in defensive situations. I thought that was his thing, you know. Obviously, lately he's been very adaptable. I wonder if it's because of players, some players not performing, things like that. So you've got to, change personnel. And with changing personnel means you get different qualities, means you can line up a bit different because of what players will tend to do in certain positions. So, yeah, I think I've decided to be a bit more gracious. What I want to see is maybe give the coach, if I can, um, the rest of the season, right? To just see what he's about. What is he going to do? Okay, we're not going to win the league. Obviously, we've known that for a while. We've known that for years, that some of us, that we're not going to win the league. Not how things are going at a grassroots level in terms of the things that you think structurally should help the first team to win football games. I think there are a lot of things that just as an organization we can do a lot better. Just some of the things that are coming out in the media and some of the things that um, are quite visible to the eye that things are not going well behind the scenes, right? So, I mean, those things you might take for granted, but those are the marginal things that get you a level ahead of some of the teams that you play against. And I think, again, I always say that I don't like to be on this platform talking about Sundowns, and especially when we're playing Swallows, and I should be reviewing previewing the Swallows game. But these guys are setting the standard in our league. They are doing the right things in almost every aspect you can think of or I can think of. They're just doing the right thing. How they're handling their players, how they're handling the coaching situation. I mean, lately they've demoted some of their head coaches to promote Rulani, and that's done wonders for their team. Very brutal, very professional, um, very elite in how they play, the conduct of their players. You lose step, you go down. And yeah, I just feel like as Pirates, those are some of the things that are betraying our club. The club is being betrayed by the structure behind match day. So everything, not everything, but some of the things behind match day are just not helpful for the team, the first team to win games. And yes, so I would like to see some of those those technical things to decide what I think, about this coach, and maybe is he the personality? Because something that we take for granted is that as much as this is the guy who's going to put out the team sheet and maybe be involved in training, coach these players in training. But you want someone who's got a personality, someone that the fans are going to fall in love with, someone who can build that relationship with the fans, someone you feel can manage expectations, someone you feel can just be the face of the organization. And I wonder if Jose Rivero is that guy. I mean, if you think about coaches like Stuart Baxter at some point was the face of Kaizer Chiefs. You thought he was their hero. You think about Bizom Simani lately. He's someone who's that kind of figure in a football club. And you think about Ruud Krol at Pirates at some point was that guy who you thought he was the face of Orlando Pirates, right? You knew the fans loved him. You knew they believed in him. That's the other thing. And so, and that's an important point because this is what I lack in our coach. And I know a lot of Buccaneers lack that as well. Do they believe in our coach to take us forward? Or at least even win football games. I mean, going into games like this one, you'd want to believe that it's going to be a run of the mill victory. I know this is football, it's a sport that's unpredictable. There are a lot of factors that can affect a match day. There's a lot of things that go into. There's a lot of, and this is why we love the beautiful game, right? It's that the lesser team can win against the the, the so-called better team with a better organization. But you know, all things considered, I think still Pirates should win this game. Should win this game, especially because of where we are in the log, and especially behind SuperSport with 5 points now, vying for that CAF Champions League. I feel it's such a dishonor that Pirates is not playing in the CAF. That's just not right. Something is not right if Pirates is not playing in Africa, and it makes me think in saying that could it be that maybe if the coach loses this game, and that would make us, so if SuperSport win their game against Arrows on Sunday, and Pirates loses their game, we lose our game against Swallows today. that would make us 8 points behind Supersport. And I feel like that's a crisis. I know maybe I'm being overreactive about it, but yeah, just I think it's going to not be good for our to lose like a game against Swallows or even draw. I think it's not going to be good for our momentum, our confidence after losing against Chiefs the way that we did. I think we need to again. This is what we've seen the whole season. These stop starts of, okay, we gain a bit of momentum, win a few games, and then lose a game that you think, okay, go on and show who you are, guys. Show what you are about, technical team. Show us what we ought to expect and what we can relish and support. And but the fans are always supporting, even in these stop starts. We lose games like Chiefs, but I bet you that Pirates fans will still come out in their numbers against Swallows. And maybe that's a bit of the problem. But yeah, I'm not there now. I'll be there at the Dobsonville Stadium to support the Mighty Bucks. But to go back to the point, because I know I'm wavering quite a bit, I feel like that's one of the things that's lacking is that you don't believe in this coach. He's very unpredictable. I think unpredictability is a good trait in a coach, in a team, to win games, right? But there's a certain level of predictability in that it is a wide consent. It is widely known who should play. Most of the time, most people, even the fans who know less of football than the coach, who's obviously qualified to do what he does, and he's in that position because he's so much better than all of us in making the right decisions. But I feel even those decisions where you know who should be playing, um, yeah, the coach even tends to surprise us, the fans, in who he picks, how he starts. I mean, last week we saw Marco at right back, even though Munyani was on the bench. And I mean, I talked about this, that maybe the argument would have been that Munyani is not fit or whatever. But he played 25 minutes against Maritzburg, if you remember, in the previous game. And I think basing it on how this coach does things, he has played players who are unfit. Think about Gutman Musele, who returned in a Sundowns game after a long-term injury. He played in that game after a long-term injury. And so I think that disqualifies the fitness issue. So it could be that he doesn't trust Monyani defensively. So that's why he opted for Marco on at right back versus Kaizer Chiefs. Those are the things. Those are the little things that for me just make me untrusting of this technical team. It's not because I wake up and I want to not trust. It's what does he do? And yeah, he just wouldn't let Maela sit on the bench. So he knew he wanted to play Marco in this game. So he shoved Marco at right back and played Maela at left back. And I think those are the things that build this untrusting relationship with the technical team. Even things like you know, players playing when they're off form. Those are the things that have gotten us to question why is he doing that? Why would he do that? Why don't you drop? You've got weapons on the bench. You've got definitely. I mean, this is something I will not sit here and repeat that Pirates have got the quality on the bench. We've even got quality out on loan currently. Think about Zakele Lebasa and players like that. Buitumelo Radiopane out on loan. These are players that I think can help the first team, if you find the right combinations and if you make the right decisions. So I know, I mean, I haven't said much about the Swallows game, but I think there's not a lot to say, especially about Swallows. But we just hope that going into this one, we're going to make the right decisions. We're going to pick the right players. We're going to line up the right squad to go and get us the 3 points. Get the job done, guys. Reduce that point to 2 points against Supersport. Put that pressure on them. Let them go and drop points so we can be in the CAF Champions League. I mean, I repeat, it's a huge crisis, Pirates not playing in Africa. As fans, our expectations of this club have drastically gone down. Like, we've really become very satisfied with mediocrity. There's no way we should be satisfied. I mean, I get into these heated discussions with a few Pirates fans who come across my content, and I'm really grateful that they engage with it. But yeah, I get into these heated discussions when I start to question some of the things, like when I start to question standards. I mean, there are Pirates fans who are satisfied with the fact that we are 20 points behind Sundowns. Um, Content, maybe that's the word, quite content, and I'm not content with that. It's because this is a great club, this is a great organization, and it should be where it should be. It should be at the top of the league. It should be winning trophies, and the league especially. I'm not satisfied with winning an MTN 8 every now and again. That's good if we also win the league. That's the big shiny one. We want that one. That one says over the course of the season, we have proven to be the best club over 30 games. Fine, the MTN 8 is what, 4 games, 5 games. We can win that one, especially when you play against, teams that every now and again, I mean, you can always plan for cup competitions and win the one-off game. Same as the Nedbank Cup, when you're going to play against teams in lower divisions and all of that, you can always win that trophy. But in a fair 30-game season where you play every team home and away, can you go and win that big shiny one? And obviously we can't. It's been years now. It's been what, 11 years. I don't want to start that conversation, but it's been 11 years. And yeah, so we're going to sit here as Pirates fans and ask these questions, even if we don't have the expertise as these guys, but at least we can ask the questions. Why are we not winning? We've got the resources, don't we? We've got the history. We've got everything that sets us up to be a great football club in South Africa. Why are we not? Obviously, the people that are tasked with making the decisions, that are tasked with the duties to make us this great club, this great organization, are not doing well. We can see it because when we measure ourselves against our rivals, we are far off. We're just very far off. Very, very far off. Yeah, let's not get into that one. I think just to get into the lineup for this game, it's going to be very interesting. I've already touched on the right back situation. Is he going to play Munyane? And that's disappointing if he does, because obviously Maela's not going to be here for this one. Maybe that's why he's going to play. I'm not sure about Shandu, if Shandu's back for this one, but I haven't heard anything about it. So Munyane should play at right back. Craig Martin is the deputy, should be the deputy, because he might play Craig Martin. That's one of the other things that I say about the coach being unpredictable and these decisions that will shock you a lot of the time. Munari is not available. For some reason, he was not at the derby. So you've got to ask yourself, why is he not there? Management or coach, whoever, why is Munari not there? Playing well, he's playing very well in midfield. We all know. Why is he not playing? Okay, so who's he going to play at right back? I would play Munyane, obviously. I think a lot of Buccaneers, we all agree that Munyane should play right back in this one and even in previous games, but especially in this one because, the history is the history. You can't change it now. Left back is going to play Marco. He could play Dion Otto, to our surprise. So I think he might even go back to the three. Three centre backs. With Nda fit and available now, having played, even though he made a howler in the Soweto Derby, he might go back to the three. Sivisi being available of Nda, Sivisi, and Oki back at centre back, which would be so disappointing to go back to the whole three at the back, three centre backs, wing backs. It's very defensive, very negative. Limiting the number of attacking players that we can get on the pitch. Eliminate a centre back, play with four at the back as you have been. So I'll be disappointed if I see that. This is also subject to Sivisi being available because you might also see Mtet in there. So I would go with Marco at left back. Centre back pairing of Koki and Da. Shaina at goalkeeper, even though he's not done good for himself in that game. But I mean, we are forgiving of that sort of thing. You will make that mistake as a goalkeeper or especially early on in your Pirates career. I think Shaina is someone who's still going to get his experience playing for this club over time. So we still want to see him. Didn't do himself justice with that mistake, not at all. Let's not lie about that. He didn't do himself justice with that one. I feel like he's disappointed because Ofori is right at his neck. A lot of Buccaneers also do like Ofori, even though I think for our kind of football, maybe Ofori is not the goalkeeper. Nice guy, I always say. Good goalkeeper, very vocal. Bit of a leader, a lot of personality, but brand of football, starting the ball at the back, building up from the back, he's not the goalkeeper. Shaina is better in that regard. So Shaina goalkeeper, Oki Nda centre back pairing, Maela left back, Munyane right back, Munari defensive midfield. I would play Ndlondlo played a stinker in the derby and has not played up to standards for a while now. I mean, he set a high standard at Marumo Gallants, even his first game at Pirates versus Sundowns. He got us all dreaming of the kind of player that we're getting, but he's not had a good game, good games. Sorry, lost the ball too easily in midfield, misplaced passes. I'm forgiving with misplaced passes, especially if you're the kind of player who plays vertical passes and you try and break lines, you take the risks. So your passing succession rate will not be as high as someone like Monare, who plays the safe passes and keeps it ticking for the club, right? But I feel like he's lost the ball very easily in midfield. There's times where he should have just protected it and released it. He has tried to keep it a little bit and being knocked off it, and then the ball is stolen and the team has a break. Saw that against Kaizer Chiefs, saw a bit of that against Maritzburg, saw that also against All Stars. So, I mean, I would still play Ndlondlo. I think he's a confidence player. I think he's someone you want. He's someone who will play great when he feels confident, when he feels like he's carrying the team. I mean, go back to Marumo Gallants. But this is a different ball game now. He's at Pirates. So a lot of the time, you don't get to be the guy carrying the team unless you are a player like Lodge or Saleng, to our surprise. And credit to Saleng, this is no disrespect, but yeah, unless you're that kind of player, that caliber of player like Lodge, yeah, you can carry the club. But it's quite a hefty task. And I think Ndlondlo has not done it yet, quite like he was doing it at Marumo Gallants. But I also don't expect him to carry the club. I expect him to use his teammates to help him. This is a team sport, and that's why we love it, is because the left back is so important for the right winger on the opposite side. The left back's job is reliant on the right winger on the opposite side. Likewise, the right winger depends on his left back to do his job on the left side, and I think Ndlondlo maybe needs to get a bit used to that. He's not going to be the star at Orlando Pirates. He needs to do what he has to do quite well. Sometimes not be the center of attention. Just play the passes. Just do what you've got to do. And I think there's a big player in Dabaiteto Ndlondlo. I believe he should still play, but I think he's gotta go back to the simple things. The ball carrying, but making the right decision in the right moments. I think at times he's been prone to try and turn in midfield in times where you think just move it along, take it to the other side or play it forward. But I'd still play Ndlondlo. Let's get his confidence back. He can be a big player for us, so get his confidence back. But I think maybe we can, because we've tried the two. I can still play the two of Ndlondlo playing as a deep lying playmaker, and I've made my case for why I think that is. But yeah, and play Lorch in front of them. But that means Pule has to play on the left, and so you've got two left-footed players on the left, meaning that Pule, if he's got to go out wide, Marco can't go as well. He's got to drift infield into his weaker foot, or Pule has to come inside into his weaker foot and Marco go out wide. I think Pule anyway likes to come into play as a number 10, so this is why I prefer him centrally. And Lodge sometimes play on the left. I think that's what we should maybe do. Play Lodge on the left. He's got a good combination with Marco on the left. We've seen that for years, actually. Play Lodge on the left with Marco. Maybe try and play Pule and Ndlondlo as your two number 8, or play Pule as a 10 and Ndlondlo and Monari as your two sort of deep lying midfielders. Ndlondlo as the playmaker, and then Pule ahead of them, right? Or the V, as I've already alluded to, the V with Monari at the base and two number 8s in front of him, Ndlondlo and Pule. And then on the right, obviously Saleng. And up front, I would like to see Erasmus for this one. I think Erasmus is a big player to be sitting out the Kaizer Chiefs game. He's played well in the big occasions. Let's be honest. Against Sundowns, we've seen just how Erasmus has played well and has scored goals. And yeah, quite disappointing not to see him against Chiefs, but should be back for this one. Chukwamanja had a stinker, so obviously Chukwamanja knows that he's got someone like Erasmus breathing down his neck. I think he should have someone like Bitumelo Radiopani breathing down his neck as well, but that's another conversation. But yeah, bring back Erasmus for this one. That's my starting 11. What do you think? Leave a comment. It's always nice to hear how you guys are seeing our team. It's always nice to engage in these discussions, these conversations. Yeah, but I'll be here again after the game to react to it. Hopefully, we're going to win this one. Hopefully, we get the 3 points. Hopefully, we close the gap to 2 points. Hopefully, we get the momentum back again. Hopefully, our coach makes the right decision. Hopefully, we get back to where we should be as a club, and that's in Africa. And then over time, at the top of the table. But for now, let's talk after the Swallows game. Up the Mighty Bucks. Cheers.